Hi, everyone. I'm here to talk with you about how to communicate with a face mask on. There are just some basic principles that you need to be aware of. The first one is slow down. Most of us can speak faster than we can hear. It takes the brain a nanosecond to process the words that are coming out of the speaker's mouth and into the listener's ears for them to figure out what's being said and to follow what you are saying, the line of thought, especially if you use things like metaphors, similes, allusions, where you're referring to something other than or similar to or like. And the listener has to be able to hear those, process that, think of the other image, and then get back to what you're saying. Well, by then you've moved on to the next sentence or even the next thought. So, one thing to consider, just slow down. One of the most consistent critiques we give our actors is slow down. You know what you're saying, and so you speak it very quickly. But the listener does not know what you're saying. They're hearing it for the first time. So you need to slow down. All right. The second one is enunciate. Okay, most of us do not pronounce our D's, our P's, our T's, our K's. Most of us, when we speak, most of us, when we speak, don't speak like that, which is probably good. That sounds stupid. But if you're in a face mask, you need to pronounce the ends of those. There's a big difference when you're saying speed and speak, and yet we do it by context. Are you speaking to me? Are you speeding to me? No, you do it by context, but if the context doesn't make that much difference, then you don't hear the difference in the words speed and speak, right? Okay. The mask also, in covering the mouth, takes away one of the elements of the ability to communicate. Most of us do not maintain consistent eye contact with someone we're talking to. We look at them and then we look away or we look down, or many of us, especially those of us who are hard of hearing, watch the mouth. As I'm recording this, I have to make myself look at the camera because I want to watch my mouth to see what my mouth is doing. Well, obviously with a mask on, that takes that part away. My students know that if they start to ask me a question or talk to me and then turn away, I won't hear them. My constant response to them is, you're talking like you're acting like I can hear you. And it's not hearing. I hear the sound, but I can't distinguish the nuance of the consonants that shape words. And so therefore, if they were to enunciate very clearly, I could probably understand them as they turn their head away, but none of us do. And so unless you over-enunciate, I'm not going to understand you unless I can see what your mouth and your lips are doing, which I can't do if you're wearing a face mask. Okay? Another thing is we tend to drop our NGs, our INGs. We shorten our INGs. It goes back to enunciation, doing, speeding, going, it's going is the word, going, doing, speaking, all right? There's a difference in, I think I'm just checking, all right? Are you checking, or are you chicken, all right? To be understood, you need to pronounce those INGs, especially when your mouth is covered. So enunciate. And also when you do enunciate, it helps you with your first principle of slowing down. He thrust 3,000 thistles through the thick of his thumb will slow your speech down. If you're pronouncing all the consonants, it slows your mouth down in order to do it. So they go hand in hand. The third one is one that you might not be aware of, is at commas, at periods, we tend to drop our pitch because it signifies finality. Here, finality. We drop the pitch at the end of a sentence. At the end of a sentence. Did you hear it? It's how we've learned to speak. It's everything. But you need to keep that, either keep the pitch up so that you don't drop down at the end, or punch the volume just a little bit. If you enunciate, you're going to punch the volume. But it's very important. And the sad thing is, most of the time, very significant parts of what you're trying to say happen after the verb in the sentence. And so therefore, there's the possibility they're going to miss it. One that's end of sentence but also enunciation is, I love you. Okay? Do I love you? Do I love you? Do I love, I don't know. The important thing is keeping, I found the treasure down by the river. Okay, I found the treasure, you heard treasure, not exactly sure where you found the treasure. That would be important, okay? That's the end of the sentence. So you can still speak at the same pitch, but just push the volume just a tad at the end of your sentence, which is what I just did, all right? And then the last one, guys, practice. It's like rehearsal. Practice over and over and over. I know you hear this, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, I got it, okay, we're good. No, you're not. It's not going to happen after just listening to this one time. Your head will know it, but it will not. You have to train the muscles in your mouth and your tongue to do what your head says. Oh yeah, that makes, oh, I didn't do that. Okay, well, geez, I'm sorry, Bob. No, you've got to practice it over and over and over and over and over. There's an exercise that we do in acting classes where, and this you could do with a mask on. You get a partner, you face each other, and then you say random things to each other. You don't have a conversation where your mind of the listener can kind of guess where it's going to go. It needs to be, I had chicken instead of steak last night for supper. And then the next one might be, it's really cold outside, okay? But non sequitur sentences or thoughts, you take turns saying that to each other, and each time you say one, you take a step backwards. And so that the distance is increasing continually between the two of you. You don't increase your volume. You find at the point where you are beginning to be misunderstood or not heard, or what was that one word? What was it? And so then you begin, again, you need to know, slow down, enunciate, and punch the ends of your sentences so that they don't get too low in volume that people can't hear them. Do that, but don't increase your volume, and see if that helps. I have students who've gone all the way from the one end of the classroom in 103 in Harmon to the other, and we're still able to be understood without increasing their volume. I have others who've gone 2 steps, and their recipient was saying, what was that you said, huh? I didn't understand. So those are very simple things. Slow down, enunciate all your consonants and your INGs, and punch the ends of your sentences so that they don't get lost. The direct objects, the things that you're going towards at the ends of your sentences, don't get lost. All right, that's it, guys. And then on top of that, the biggest thing, practice.